Ladies and gentlemen, Rise of Kingdoms just revealed two brand new legendary cavalry commanders. We have Gamchan and David the Fourth. We have their skill information, their talent information, and we also have a bunch of update notes that we're going to go over today in this video. But first, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now, as you guys know, I'm a sponsored partner created with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you want more raw content, consider subscribing down below. And man, this information release came out with the Korean meetup, and so the time zone difference here, what's crazy, it's like 5:30 in the morning, so we're covering this as soon as I could. But let's jump right into the skills here for Gangnam Style. We've got Sword of the Falling Star, Cavalry Versatility, and Combo Commander. Obviously David the Fourth is a garrison commander. All of this is stuff that we've already predicted here on the channel. Let's see if the wait for Gamchan was worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, the active skill single target damage rage requirement of 1,000 launches 2 combo attacks against a target troop damage factor of 1,400, so a total of 2,800 damage to a single target for the next 5 seconds. This commander's troop gains the Star Blessed effect. Cavalry units in the troop gain 5% health, 5% defense, and increases the healing from the Starlight skill by 100%. So we are going to be doing healing on this commander. Okay, so before we go any further, okay, before we do anything else, there's one thing that is super important. I'm coming in here and I'm maxing my boy Achilles. Okay, all I needed to do was read that first skill and I know exactly where my sculptures are going. Okay, I was probably going to max him anyway, but now that I see that he is a single target damage commander with 2,800, I can guarantee you that this is a fantastic use of my sculptures. Okay, there is just no way. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this is going to age horribly in like 30 seconds. Okay, but there is no way that this new commander is going to output the same amount of damage as Achilles. Let's see if I'm right about that. We just maxed him live in the video. Okay, so there we go. We've put our money where our mouth is. I'm betting right now that Achilles is going to be a stronger commander than this dude. This dude is 2,800 to one target. The math is just not mathing. This is 100 damage factor more than Hua. So let's see what the rest of this dude's kit has to make this single target damage somewhat viable in the field. The second skill, this commander's troop takes 10% less damage while on the map. Cavalry units in their troop gain 20% march speed and 30% defense. Okay, so what we see here is actually less stats than we typically see on a second skill, but you take 10% less damage, which is just better, right? So all in all, I think it's a give and take, right? Less stats, but it's just all damage taken reduction. So I mean, like, hey, this is a super tanky second skill with a really solid march speed bonus. Third skill, this is the Starlight skill that they were just talking about. Okay, if this commander's in a field troop, their troop deals 15% more normal damage. Okay, so we've got a combo damage commander. Normal damage boost is good for that, or so I should say normal damage bonus. All right, whenever their troop deals combo attack damage, it recovers a large portion of its slightly wounded units, 10% of the combo attack damage dealt. Units healed by this skill cannot be healed by it again and cannot be severely wounded, but can be slightly wounded until they return to your city. Okay, so your healing cap for this commander is basically whatever your troop capacity is. Okay, so that makes sense. Also, what we can tell here is that this 100% bonus to this skill is not going to do anything for the first cast, right? So your first cast of this is going to be a 10% damage converted to healing. Okay, we don't at the time of recording this know if this is regular healing or mighty healing. I feel like if it was mighty healing they would just tell us, or maybe this is, honestly, this is probably something else. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is probably the true damage equivalent of healing, now that I'm looking at this a bit longer, because again, they don't use the word I mean, they say he recovers a portion of troops, but they don't use really the word healing or mighty healing. There's no healing factor here, so this is probably, again, the true damage equivalent to healing. Very confusing stuff here, but basically the increase to the healing from the Starlight skill only occurs for the next 5 seconds after your active skill. Okay, so basically any combo damage that you deal, you're going to heal 10% of that attack damage dealt, but if it's after the Gamchan charge, sorry if I mispronounced that, then it's going to be increased by 100%. Okay, so lots of healing potentially from this commander. The third skill, whenever this commander's troop deals combo attack damage to a field troop, it has a 30% chance to reduce the target's defense by 40% for 5 seconds. This effect can trigger up to 3 times in a single second. 3 times in a single second with a 5-second cooldown. Okay, so you can reduce a target's defense by 120% for 5 seconds. That is an extremely long debuff, by the way. I mean, that's the best defense reduction in the game. Right now, it doesn't work on rallies or garrisons, so it's only in the field, and it's only to one target. So I love this idea of this commander being very tanky, very sustainable. He heals himself, and he can really just like absolutely destroy one thing, right? Like that is going to be his whole situation here. 30% chance is pretty high, especially because it's whenever you're dealing combo damage, so you're going to be doing that a ton. The expertise actually enhances the active skill. It says launches 2 combo attacks with a damage factor of 1500. Okay, so we now have a 3000 damage factor single target commander here, and for the next 5 seconds you gain 10% health, 10% defense. You also increase the healing to 150%. Okay, so as long as you're constantly in battle, you're probably always going to have this 10% health, 10% defense. So really, if we look at his kit, he's going to always have 40% defense, 10% health. That pretty much puts him on par with most commanders. It's a little bit weird that some of his stats are like attached to his active skill. I don't love that. Historically, that is not very good, but I think that there is a lot to love about this commander, but I do not regret maxing Achilles in this video because I mean, what are we talking about? This is 3000 damage factor. This to me feels like Nevsky 2.0 without the massive boost to your own damage, right? Like Nevsky had the massive skill damage bonus on his 4th skill, and he also had 60% of stats. Here we see less stats, but you take less all damage, which is nice, but you have 15% normal damage instead of the 60% skill damage bonus Nevsky was giving to your secondary. But the reason I say he reminds me of Nevsky is because he is single target damage. He's a little bit tanky, and also he has a massive defense reduction to one target. This is way better than Nevsky's, except it procs randomly with combo attacks instead of guaranteed every skill cycle, right? So again, this feels like Nevsky 2.0. I think this commander is, you know, if you're running multiple cavalry armies, this commander is in there, right? Of course. Is this going to be the best cavalry commander in the game? No. Is this Emperor Chin for cavalry? No. Is this better than Achilles? I doubt it, to be honest with you. 3001 target. Like if this commander wanted to be power crept to the level of Achilles, King Arthur, whatever, you probably needed like 4000 or 4500 damage factor, or maybe a little bit more than that, honestly, for single target to make that relevant. But who knows, maybe his debuff is going to make him appear to hit way harder, if that makes sense. Like really, like single target testing here is going to be really difficult because he is going to be the dueling king. Like let's just get that out of the way. This is the dueling king here. Okay, 120% defense reduction. Potentially, like it could possibly trigger that much. It won't always trigger that much, right? But you could possibly do that. I don't know. This feels underwhelming to me. I guess it depends on how much you're healing. I think, you know, if you're running him in altar and things like that, like he's going to be a Giga Chad there. I'm not super convinced though. I'll probably max him, although it really just depends on how he compares to somebody like Hector, right? Hector is also a combo damage in the open field who's more universal. So we'll have to wait and see. I think the healing here is super interesting in terms of sustain, so I'm not really sure. Let's go over the skills for David, and then I'll give you guys some more thoughts and opinions in just a minute. David the Fourth, this is an AoE with a rage requirement of 1000. Ooh, okay, so interesting out of the gate here. Launches 2 combo attacks against 3 enemy troops and a fan shape with a damage factor of 1400, so that is 2800 to 3 targets combo damage. Okay, immediately cleanses 2 slow poison, exhaustion, or other normal debuff effects from this commander's troop for effects with multiple stack. It cleanses 1 stack. Okay, so I guess that would cleanse 2 stacks then. Not really sure, but that's pretty interesting. Let's look at the second skill. This commander's cavalry units gain 35% defense if they are serving as a garrison commander. Their garrison takes 10% less skill damage. Okay, specifically skill damage, nothing to do against infantry and their smite damage. Kinda yikes. Also no march speed here, which we don't typically see on garrison commanders. It's very rare we see garrison commanders with march speed. This is, by the way, cavalry garrison combo. Okay, so this is a combo damage garrison, of course. Let's take a look at the third skill. This commander serving as a garrison commander, you deal 10% more combo damage whenever the garrison launches a basic attack. It deals combo attack damage to up to 3 nearby enemy troops with a damage factor of 200. Also the 15% reduction, cooldown of 3 seconds. So you have an instant proc. It's like not even instant proc though, it's guaranteed. Okay, so every 3 seconds you're going to deal another 200 AoE basically, right? It says whenever you launch a basic attack, but there's a 3-second cooldown. Okay, so not really sure. It's literally every every 3 seconds. Once that cooldown's gone and you launch your basic attack, boom, you're dealing another 200 AoE. Next up, whenever this commander's troop uses an active skill while attacking a troop on the map, the target takes 40% more combo attack damage for the next 3 seconds with a 5-second cooldown. That's kind of crazy. That's really strong. Really long cooldown here, of course, and this does work in the field, right? So if we're thinking about him as a field viable commander, he has no march speed, which sucks, and the skill damage reduction is only in the garrison, and also the entire third skill is only in the garrison, which kind of sucks, but the fourth skill works in the field. Okay, expertise: if this commander is serving as a garrison, you take 10% less damage, and if you're less than 50% units remaining, the garrison deals 5% more damage. All right, so this as a commander, you know, in terms of him just being AoE combo damage with nice defense, I guess he could output decent damage in the field, but you probably, I mean, he probably won't be unless you're running like 3 calves and you're looking really desperate for more open fielders. I just, you know, when you have this entire skill doesn't do anything in the field, and the entire expertise doesn't do anything in the field, and you don't have march speed, and this skill, I mean, it's the target. If the active skill is AoE, do all the targets take this? I doubt it, right? I honestly doubt it. It's probably just the single thing that you are actively targeting. So this doesn't look like it's an AoE combo damage debuff. We'll have to test it obviously, but it looks like it's just to a single target. So yes, can you use him in the field? Maybe if you're running 3 calves, right, and you're running a ton of combo. I don't know why you would be doing that, but all in all, I wouldn't really be looking towards him as you know, as someone to use in the field. Like 5-5-1-1, I guess, would be pretty good, right? Like that would be the most that you'd want to do if you're doing a budget build, but really that's not who's going to be interested in this commander. And of course, if you are looking for an open field cav, Gangnam Style over here is the this is the cream of the crop for this release, at least. I don't think he's anything special. But that being said, let's actually go over the latest update patch notes, and then we'll talk more about the new commanders later in the video. Okay, so this just came out at 1:25 in the morning for me. Homestead reveal. We plan to update the game to version 1.1.0.1. I can't believe that we've been playing the game so long. We finally have version 1.1. That's crazy. Okay, Thanksgiving event series. Join the Thanksgiving festivities. We have the Might and Munificence complete quest for 7 days. Thanksgiving dinner, we see this every year. Thanksgiving gifts, exchange for a wide variety of prizes. Cordial invitation, I think we see that every year. We have race against time and Smithy specials. Okay, cool. So Smithy specials is coming back. All of this stuff is nothing new. Lost Kingdom and Season of Conquest added the Heliamber resource to the Endless War story, added the Daybreak Trials game mode to the Endless War story after the update. Earn valor by upgrading Heliamber mines and earn bountiful rewards by participating in Daybreak Trials. I just went to the Rock YouTube channel to see if they posted a video about what this is, but they don't. So anyway, Army Group Pioneer Experience. After the update, the Army Group feature will become available in certain Lost Kingdoms. Okay. Oh, they explain it here. Create Army Groups from the Alliance War page. The creator of an Army Group will be able to control troops assigned to the Army Group by other governors. Okay, they did actually talk about this in the past. Governors can assign their troops as reserves or directly hand over a portion of their troops to the Army's Group creator. The Army Group creator can use the troops in their Army Group to attack enemy field troops and rallied armies. Adjust in Season of Conquest immigration rules. You can now immigrate to Lost Kingdoms that have entered the settlement phase. This change only applies to Lost Kingdoms open after the update. Adjusted the Lost Kingdom domain unlock conditions. Domains now unlock when there are 600 or more active governors. Okay. Story previews will become permanently available for the season after the Season of Conquest begins. You can now mark the stories you want to play. The popularity of certain stories may determine how subsequent content is unlocked. Adjusted Season of Conquest reward mechanics, and fully launched the acclaim feature. In Lost Kingdoms that open after the update, governors will earn acclaim based on the severe wounds / kills they suffer and inflict, scaled according to troop level. The amount of acclaim earned will be displayed on battle reports. Adjusted certain Crusader achievements require acclaim. Okay, we're no longer having achievements in KVK go off of kill points. It's going to require acclaim now. Okay, we've already seen this in previous updates revealed. Control and combat quality of life optimizations added a queue management feature. Upgrade your city hall to level 8 to unlock queue management. Queue management gives you an overview of construction, training, tech research, healing, scouting, alliance donations, and allows you to perform quick actions from the dashboard. This feature can be disabled in settings at any time. Okay, this is, I think a lot of city builder games on mobile have this, where instead of like having to go find the building that you want to upgrade, you just have like a little panel that pops out and you just can, you know, figure out what, okay, am I researching everything I can? Am I building everything? Am I training everything I can? That's going to be cool to be able to access that. I hope that you can access this from dot mode. That would be fantastic. That way you can like heal from dot mode, but we'll have to wait and see. Added an alliance marker feature. Alliance officers can place alliance markers by tapping an empty area on the map. Is that new? Okay. Officers can use alliance markers to issue offensive, defensive, and other commands to other alliance members. Officers can also place teleport markers, which alliance members can use to teleport to the front lines. Okay, very cool, that last part, but I don't know what the difference is with the other stuff here. Optimized auto peacekeeping. Troops engaged in auto peacekeeping will attack barbarian troops together when possible. Troops that arrive at the target area in advance will wait for other troops to arrive. That is fantastic. I'm very happy about that. You no longer have to like perfectly match the march speed of all of your marches. They will just work together. Auto peacekeeping now supports batch assignment. Adjusted total attacks to the number of barbarian troops attacked. Adjusted the estimate action points calculated according to the number of barbarian troops defeated and the number of troops engaged in auto peacekeeping. Very cool stuff here. I like the auto peacekeeping. It really helped me with my Halloween event. I was able to complete that event on like day one basically because I just have so much AP. Lucky me, I've been playing the game for a long time. Optimize the field battle experience. Reduce the angle at which troops spread out during a focus fire attack. This change affects field troops only. In strategic view, tapping and holding a troop barbarian stronghold will open a pop-up that enables march and attack march commands at large scale battles. Very cool stuff. Okay, we love to see that. Reducing the angle which they spread out is very awesome as well. Really like to see that. That's always super annoying. Talking about you, Nevsky, who just spreads out into the enemy ball for some reason. Game mode optimizations. Optimize the Champions of Olympia event. Okay, adjusted rank team formation rules. They can now only use solo queue if you're Ascendant Sage or above. Improved matchmaking algorithm. Very cool. Adjusted the activity points granted after each battle. Remove morale mechanic and modified all skills that interact with morale. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't play Champions of Olympia. We optimized the Dark Fortress raid. Alliance members will now receive a notification mail when an officer sets the time. Optimized arms training so you can set the sequence of skills before the event begins. Okay, optimized alliance mobilization. Let's go. Affects kingdoms over 60 days old. Added customizable personal featured quests worth a large amount of points. These quests require quest attempts and quest crests to select and are immediately accepted upon selection. Added a new bundle, quest with the best. Purchase it to get quest crests and tons of rewards. Okay. Adjusted personal quest attempts at the start of the event. Governors will receive 8 quest attempts during the quest phase. You'll be able to purchase a certain number of quest attempts each day. The first purchase is free. Complete quest to earn contribution points, which can be exchanged for rewards in the event shop. Okay, that's pretty cool. Increase the individual credits required to claim alliance level rewards. When you cancel or fail a quest attempts and quest crests used to accept the quest will be automatically refunded and the quest will be returned to the quest list. I will reserve my thoughts on this to see it in the game so I fully understand how this works, because I know this is an event that a lot of people don't love, and so hopefully that helps in some way, but I want to actually see it in the game. Art and special effect improvements. Updated the expedition map with new visual effects. Let's add more levels here and then throw Hector in there for free. How about that? How does that sound? That sounds like a great suggestion. I think we should do that. Updated the War of the Ruins and Triarch Troubles maps with new visuals. Cool. Updated visuals for ranged troops. Cool. Optimized the watch list feature. Governors ranked top 100 by individual power in appearing kingdoms cannot be added to the watch list. Governors with less than 50 million power can be added to the watch list regardless of the ranking. You can add governors in Lost Kingdom to the watch list. Once they teleport back to home kingdom, they won't be able to enter Lost Kingdom until they are removed from the watch list. Cool. Reduce the cooldown for adding governors watch list to 10 seconds. Modify the Inspire King skill. Reduce skill cooldown and added a new effect when attacked by ranged troops. Gain range damage resistance according to the number of attackers. Okay. Optimized the switch civilization function. Upgraded to 16 to unlock civ buff switching on the switch civilization page. Added 2 new unique siege civilization buffs to the civilization buff switching page. Cool. Golden chest and commander sculpture chests also contain Pepin, Casimir, and their sculptures. That is fantastic. Advanced special offers will appear each time a commander daily special offer is added. Added Achilles and Hector to Legendary Tavern. Updated SVIP with new astral effects with war themed cosmetics. Optimized icon styles for other SVIP themes. Optimized kingdom overview display. Optimized the skip feature in commander stories. That's awesome. Optimized behavior of city commanders, reducing misclicking. Okay, great. So a lot of the stuff here, the biggest thing is adding Pepin and Casimir to the commander sculpture chests. That is really big. I think that is literally the gathering pick one chest. Okay, I know a lot of this stuff down here was cut off, but a lot of this stuff, I'm gonna be honest, I mean, this doesn't seem like a massive update. This seems just like a lot of quality of life improvements, and that's pretty much it. So nice stuff there. Let's talk a little bit more about Gamchan. Obviously he's going to be compared a ton to Achilles and Hector, who just came into the game. If we take a look at Hector, right, obviously Gamchan deals a little bit more damage with his active skill. And if we look at the second skill, they have the same amount of march speed, same amount of defense, but we have health here instead of all damage reduction. Third skill gives you a chance for an extra combo damage, okay, whereas the third skill here gives you a buff to normal damage, and when you deal combo damage you heal, okay, which I assume will be a pretty big healing factor. All in all, I mean, man, I suspect that if I were to just guess right off of reading the skills here, okay, I'm gonna say that Gamchan probably will perform slightly better in the field than Hector. That is my assumption. Is Gamchan going to perform better in the field than Achilles? I would say almost no chance. I mean, just the way the math is mathing here, it just seems pretty much impossible, in fact. Now, the thing with Achilles, glass cannon, obviously, right? Is this the best cavalry commander in the game? I think he's close to King Arthur, but I don't know for sure yet. Obviously with my next KVK, we're going to be testing him. I just expertised him in this video, but yeah, if you guys were wondering, Achilles or this new guy, I'm putting my money on Achilles. Obviously if you can wait for testing, but we've never seen a single target damage commander output more damage than a circular AoE commander. I literally don't think that has ever happened in the over 7 years of this game existing. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear cut the winner here in my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, how are we going to pair these commanders together? Well, obviously we're talking about one combo damage march. We're probably not even talking about Gamchan, to be honest with you. Like, your single best cav march is going to be Arthur with Achilles. That's open and shut case. I don't think anybody's gonna even argue against that. If we're talking two combo damage marches though, obviously you're going to split them up, in which case you would probably do like Arthur with Gamchan, and then you would do Achilles with Hector. That's the assumption that I'm making here. Of course, if you don't have Hector, then you could continue to do something like Arthur with Philip or Arthur with William, and then you can run Achilles with Gamchan. By the way, you're probably always going to want to run the AoE commander as the primary commander, regardless of like active skill coordination, like putting one commander first with it. What we've seen over the last couple of years in Rise of Kingdoms is that the AoE commander, you pretty much always want as the primary, right? With very few exceptions. You know, commanders like Hua, this was an exception because his skills basically forced him to be primary, which is what kind of sucked about Hua, to be honest with you. Same thing with Nevsky. This massive bonus to skill damage kind of forced him to be primary. Not to say that you can't use him as secondary, but he really, you know, that combined with the active skill defense reduction. But for the most part, like with every other troop type, like you want the AoE as the active skill, because sometimes you cast your active skill with the primary and then you retreat for whatever reason, or the enemy retreats for whatever reason, and then, you know, you don't want this. Basically every time you cast your active skills, you want the AoE value, right? Okay, so you always want the primary to be AoE. So I can imagine a world where we do Arthur with William or Philip, and then again we do Achilles with Gamchan. Again, my assumption is that Gamchan is going to be better than Hector, but we'll have to wait and see for testing. It also could be the case that Hector Achilles is just goated, and then you'd run that, and then you just, of course, you would run the Arthur with Gamchan behind him, and I think that's how we're going to do it, right? If we're running 3 calves, I think then at that point we're going to be looking at probably the third one being skill damage, of course. And, you know, again, if you don't have 2 combo damage formations, 2 delta formations, right, then you can do 1 full combo, 1 full skill, and just understand that your skill damage calves are going to perform way worse. And I think that's it. I will warn you though, before you go ahead and convert your other set, your skill damage formation to delta, watch my video that I talked about with Achilles, where I said that this might be a trap. Okay, I posted that video a couple of weeks ago. Definitely check that video out before you use all your conversion stones here to build a second cavalry march, especially because this commander is single target damage. I want to really stress that, you know, it to me, if you're a cav main, obviously you're going to be running 2 delta, like if you can afford to do that, fantastic. But for the average player, the free-to-play player, you know, should you be running 2 delta right now? Again, if you've built the account that way and you can, sure, but I would hold off and wait to see if we see new formations coming down the pipeline. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you made it to the end of the video, drop a thumbs up, really helps out the channel a ton. Comment down below your thoughts on Gamchan and our boy David over here, just straight up Dave. Okay, let us know what you think of Dave down in the comments down below, and if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.